Hey guys! So, today we are going to talk about personal development. So let's get into it. Now this is really an appreciation video. And for this to make any type of sense, I have to give you some context. So for the past 2 months maybe, I and most of my coworkers have been working on a really big impact type of thing for our company basically. And just to kind of give you an idea of what kind of happened here. So our CEO comes in and says to us, hey, we need to support multiple languages. And we kind of go, okay, cool. How long do we have? A month. So for the juniors out there, you may not realize this, but moving an application that has only been for one language over to an international supported system is one of the most biggest impact things you can possibly imagine. It affects absolutely everything in the system. It affects everything in the business. It affects everything in your release cycle. It is hands down the biggest change that you can do in a small company. Like, I'm not kidding, guys. It's massive. And so we kind of go, okay, well, in a month we won't be able to make a nice implementation that does all the things that you do. And he kind of go, yeah, but I just need it for a demo thing, right? To sell the idea that we can do it. And I kind of go, okay, sure, let's put something together. And we basically made an implementation of how it could work. And it was, let's just say that there is room for improvement. And so what happens now is that once the system is in place, so we can actually support having multiple languages. One of my coworkers, he's a fairly young guy. He's kind of fresh out of the university. I actually think this is his first job. And so he sits down and builds what we call a translation tool, or rather, he takes it on himself to create a translation tool. And basically, we have a Reactor application, and he builds this little widget thing, or a widget basically, a component that he can hook in to our translations basically. And then and I asked him, like, why did you do this? Because I made a previous video where I was kind of explaining that this is actually not a great idea, because you can watch that video instead. I think it's called Breaking Out of Reactor or something like that. And I was a little bit skeptical, and so, but I don't want to kill his fire, so he keeps on working. He implements it, and then he explains to me that, oh yeah, but this fits so perfectly into Storybook, which is another tool we use. And I said, yeah, it's great, but you realize that Storybook isn't really, it's not really a platform that is designed to do the thing that you're making it do now. And he said, oh no, okay, sure. And he kind of ignores me. He keeps on going, right? Because he really loves Storybook. And today we sat down and our CEO comes in, and we have finally reached a point where we actually have to talk about what are we going to do long term for translations. Now, I have more than a little bit experience working with this sort of thing. I had to kind of deal with translations and tools that support multiple languages. Guys, I won't bore you with the details, but trust me, especially when you have multiple different customers from different regions, different countries, they have and feature toggles. Oh, good God, feature toggles. Oh, so if you're in Sweden, you need these translations for these components, but in Denmark, you don't have those. You have different components. There's so much complexity for this sort of, or like Norway or America, let's not even talk about the Americans. There's tons of different things that potentially can be an issue when you deal with this sort of thing. So we talked about it, and me and my colleague, basically, we were kind of became in charge of figuring out how to do this long term. And so we sat down and I explained that, all right, these are the limitations and these are the things that we can do and these are the things that we should be doing, etc., etc. We had this discussion. And as we talked, because remember now, we have decided that we're going to go with this limited solution so that we can improve it and make it into something nicer long term. And so as we talk, I asked my coworker, so now that we have started using this tool, do you see any issues? Like, are there things that you would like to improve? And he says, yeah, I noticed that there's a lot of limitations with this approach, and I can't, like, there's a lot of stuff that, like, our business colleagues, they've been saying that they really want something very different to handle all of these translations, and I don't know. And then he kind of went silent, and he said, and I asked him, like, what is it that you don't know? He said, well, I don't know if Storybook is going to if this is going to work. And I remained completely quiet, said nothing, because I didn't want to influence him here. And then he said this. I was so proud of him. And he said, maybe this is like this solution that we have right now is going to work for a little while longer, but we should probably inform our stakeholders, our CEO or our bosses, that if we want to support like these more complicated features that they are talking about, we're going to have allocate some time to do it properly, because when we first did this, we had a really sharp deadline with a very small time period to do this in, and we could only do this with the time given, but it's not the right thing long term. I could have hugged him. I didn't. I was this close to hugging him. Because this is, like, you have to realize, guys, this is somebody who is, like, he's truly passionate. He really loves React. He really loves Storybook. He's and I remember how it was to be that person who was so sold on a tool and where you were so convinced that this was the perfect thing, and you try to, it's the idea of, if you only have a hammer, every problem is a nail. And it takes real skill or experience or personal growth, call it whatever you want, to be able to take a step back from the thing that you love, look at it objectively and ask the hard question, is this the right thing for our current situation? A true junior, or somebody with less, someone who is, in my opinion, not the sort of person you want to make decisions on your behalf, especially not technical decisions, will indulge their emotions and allow their emotions to dictate what the decision becomes. Because if he would have made the decision that, yeah, we can make Storybook work, it doesn't matter how much we hack things together, it doesn't matter, we can make it work. That approach would damage the project and the entire company over time. But he has the personal maturity to understand that this thing that he loves so much, it was right for right now, but the next step is to make something a little bit more elaborate. And that made me so proud. I was so damn proud of that guy. Because I trust me, I remember how I was when I was like that not that long ago. I had tools that I loved above everything else, and I tried to fit every problem I had into those tools. But it's only now that I realize that, all right, maybe the approach you should go with is not to try to fit the problem into the tool, rather try to find the tool that is right to solve the problem. You see the difference in perspective? And my coworker, he proved to me today that, damn, he is advancing through his career really quickly, because I don't think I would have thought that way when I was as young in my career as he is. It's not like I'm that much older in my career than he is, but I was just very impressed that someone could, that he did this. So that's what I want to leave you with. This is an appreciation video. it's a sign of great personal maturity, and that you are becoming a really skilled programmer when you have the ability to make a objective decision and make the decision that is right for the company or the project, and not the thing that you want. To let go of that emotional thing and really look at things objectively. Have a great day.